Good morning, everyone. Today we'll start with breast topic. Last class already I covered anatomy. Just to recap, some slides I added. So regarding the anatomy of the breast, it's a modified sweat gland, embryologically derived from downward growth of the ectoderm into mesenchyme along the mammary ridge, extending between the axilla and inguinal region bilaterally. In humans, the development is only in the pectoral region. Anterior chest wall. Breast extends from second to the sixth rib in the mid-clavicular line vertically, extending from clavicle upwards and from sternal edge to the mid-axillary line transversely. Medial 2/3 of the breast rests upon the pectoralis major and lateral 1/3 rests upon the serratus anterior. At its lower medial quadrant, gland rests on the external oblique aponeurosis, which separates it from the rectus abdominis. So extending upward from clavicle, medially from sternum, laterally to the mid-axillary line, anterior to the latissimus dorsi, lower medial quadrant, resting on the external oblique, mostly separating it from the rectus abdominis. So most of the cancers form in the terminal duct lobular units. Half of all the breast cancers occurs in the upper outer quadrant, because the glandular tissue being more abundant over there. See this picture. Upper outer quadrant constitutes more, 60%. Upper inner and central quadrant constitutes 12% regarding the carcinoma of the breast. Lower outer 10%, lower inner 6%. This is the diagrammatic representation of terminal duct lobular unit. Regarding the facial coverings, it has a surgically great importance. Invested within the superficial fascia, which divides into 2 layers to enclose the breast. Anterior layer provides a dissection plane between small lobules of subcutaneous fat and large fat lobules of breast. So the posterior layer is separated from pectoral fascia by potential space called retromammary space. So between these 2 layers of superficial fascia, dense condensation of fibrous tissue, so-called suspensory ligaments of Cooper, which divides the breast into lobules, as well as provide the supportive framework, which is responsible for dimpling. Regarding the blood supply of the breast, supplied by lateral thoracic artery, which a branch of second part of axillary artery, constitutes 30%. Perforating cutaneous branches of internal mammary artery to second, third, and fourth intercostal spaces constitutes of about 60%. The lateral branches of second, third, fourth, and intercostal arteries, pectoral branch of acromiothoracic artery, and superior thoracic artery. So diagrammatic representation. Coming to venous drainage of breast, drains into axillary, internal mammary, and intercostal veins. Through posterior intercostal veins, venous drainage communicate with paravertebral venous plexus called as Batson's plexus. Results in secondaries in vertebra. It will be discussed later in the carcinoma of the breast topic. Coming to nerve supply of the breast, by anterior and lateral cutaneous branches of 4th to 6th intercostal nerves. But the nerves related to breast are nerve to serratus anterior, thoracodorsal nerve, medial and lateral pectoral nerves, intercostobronchial nerve. Coming to the lymphatic drainage, axillary group of lymph nodes divided into 5 groups: anterior, central, posterior, lateral, and apical. Anterior group, these are the main drainage nodes along the lateral thoracic vessels. Central group of lymph nodes embedded in the fat in the center of the axilla, which are clinically palpable. The posterior group of lymph nodes along the subscapular vessels, lateral group, axillary vein, and apical group of lymph nodes. What are Rotter's nodes? These are nothing but interpectoral, between the pectoralis major and minor. Rovier nodes means substernal lymph nodes. When there is any retrograde invasion in the carcinoma of the breast, Rotter's node gets involved. When lymph node 1 and 2, these two nodes are commonly involved, 3 and 4 rarely involved. So, axillary lymph node levels in relation to the pectoralis minor divided into level 1, 2, and 3. These level 1 in relation with pectoralis major, below and lateral, level 2 posterior, behind to pectoralis minor, 3 medial and above to the pectoralis minor. This is the diagrammatic representation. 1 is lateral, behind 2, medial is 3. So these axillary lymph nodes that are included in the level 1 are anterior, posterior, and lateral. Level 2 constitutes central and interpectoral. Level 3 nodes constitutes the apical nodes. What are internal mammary nodes? The lymph nodes in the intercostal spaces along the edge of the sternum in the endothoracic fascia. And what are supraclavicular nodes? These lymph nodes in the supraclavicular fossa. Say, this fossa is a triangle defined by omohyoid muscle and tendon, lateral and superior border. The medial border is by internal jugular vein, and the clavicle and subclavian vein by the lower border. The group of lymph nodes. Coming to the benign breast diseases. Benign breast conditions, they are practically a universal phenomenon among the women. Most common cause of breast problems, up to 30% of women will suffer from a benign breast disorder. So ND is presented as a terminology and a framework from benign breast diseases, aberration and development and involution. The main principle of ND is the benign breast diseases arise as a result of dynamic changes occurring through mainly 3 main reproductive periods of life. The early reproductive period between 15 to 25, the late reproductive period between 25 to 40, involution period 40 to 55 years. So these benign disorders can be seen as a spectrum that extends from normal process to overt disease. So coming to the classification of benign breast diseases, congenital disorder, inverted nipple, supernumerary breast or supernumerary nipples, sebaceous cyst and other skin conditions, Tietz disease, costochondritis of the breast. ND phenomenon, constitute cyclical nodularity and mastalgia, cysts, fibroadenoma, duct ectasia, or periductal mastitis. Coming to inflammation, constitutes infection, acute and chronic. Injury, traumatic fat necrosis, cracks of nipple, hematoma. Pregnancy related, galactosele and lactational abscess. Regarding the congenital abnormalities, amasia means congenital absence of breast called amasia. It may occur on one side or both sides. It is sometimes associated with absence of sternal portion of pectoralis major called Poland's syndrome, more common in males. Regarding the polymasia, accessory breasts have been recorded in the axilla, the most common frequent site. Other sites are groin, buttock, and thigh. They have been known to function during the lactation. Regarding the mastitis of infants, the mastitis of infants is at least as common in boys as in girls. On the third day of life, if the breast is pressed slightly, a drop of colorless fluid can be expressed. A few days later, there is often a slight milky secretion which disappears during the third week, called as witch milk, caused by stimulation of the fetal breast by prolactin in response to the drop in maternal estrogens, and is essentially physiological phenomenon. The true mastitis is uncommon and it is predominantly caused by Staphylococcus aureus. Regarding the fibroadenoma, all these topics will come under short notes. Please note it. Benign encapsulated tumor occurring commonly in young females between 15 to 25-year-old age group. It's an aberration of A and D of a lobule. It shows similar hormonal activities of normal breast like in lactation, perimenopausal involution. Fibroadenoma incidence is 15% of palpable breast lumps, bilateral in 20% of cases, 20% are multiple. The types of fibroadenoma: soft, common after 30 years, more cellular, often bilateral; hard, common below 30 years, more fibrous; giant fibroadenoma, greater than 5 centimeters of size. Regarding the microscopy, divided into intracanalicular and pericanalicular. Intracanalicular, they are large and soft, mainly cellular, stroma with distorted duct. Pericanalicular type, small and hard, mainly fibrous, stroma with normal duct. Clinical features of fibroadenoma: the painless swelling with smooth, firm, non-tender, well localized, moves freely within the breast tissue, so-called the mouse in the breast. Usually, axillary lymph nodes are not enlarged. Regarding the investigations, ultrasonography is the first mode of investigation, not to confirm the solid nature, well defined with smooth outline. See in this picture, smooth outline. Regarding the mammography, usually done in the age group greater than 35-year-old, well localized, smooth regular shadow. It may show sometimes a popcorn calcification or mammography. See, this is the popcorn calcifications, multiple. The mammographic picture of fibroadenoma. And fine needle aspiration cytology or core biopsy. Treatment is done by excision, usually done under general anesthesia, mostly by 2 incisions, either subareolar incision called Webster incision or submammary incision also called Gellert-Thomas incision. So coming to the indications for surgery in case of fibroadenoma: if the size is greater than 3 centimeter, if they are multiple, if it is a giant type for cosmetic purpose, and if it is a complex type. Alternative to surgery regarding fibroadenoma includes cryoablation, heating with high frequency ultrasound called echotherapy, or removal with a large core vacuum biopsy system. Coming to fibrocyst adenosis. This benign disorder, estrogen dependent condition, also called cyclical mastalgia with nodularity. One of the cysts may get enlarged to become clinically palpable, well-localized swelling called blue dome cyst of Bloodgood. When diffuse, small, multiple cysts that are the main component called as Schimmelberg's disease. Fluctuant, transilluminant, non-tender with thin bluish capsule. Surgical excision is done if it persists or recurs even after 2 aspirations. If it is blood stained, if there is any residual lump after aspiration. These are the indications for surgical excision. So this is the most common breast disease seen common in upper outer quadrant. Exaggerated response of breast stroma and epithelium to hormones and growth factors. The various stages in fibrocyst adenosis. Stage 1, stromal proliferation or hyperplasia. Stage 2, adenosis. And stage 3, cyst formation. Clinical features: bilaterally painful, diffuse, granular, tender swelling, pain and tenderness more just prior to menstruation, hence called cyclical mastalgia. Subsides during pregnancy, lactation, and after menopause. Discharge, when present, it will either be serous, occasionally it can be greenish, not fixed to the skin, muscle, or chest wall. The investigations: ultrasonography, the first mode, mammography, greater than 35 years of age, fine needle aspiration cytology, nipple discharge for cytology. Regarding the treatment, conservative line of management is the main mode. Reassurance to the patient, medical treatment, oil of evening primrose, 1000 to 3000 mg per day given for 4 to 6 months, or gamolenic acid 120 mg per day, tamoxifen 10 mg BD, danazole, gonadiol releasing hormone inhibitor. Regarding the surgery, excision of cyst or localized excision of diseased tissue. Subcutaneous mastectomy with prosthesis placement in severe and persistent disease. The various indications for surgery in fibrocyst adenosis: when there is any intractable pain, florid epitheliosis, Bloodgood cyst, persistent bloody discharge, psychological reason. Regarding the Phyllodes tumor, also called cystosarcoma phyllodes or serocystic disease of Brody, shows wide spectrum of activity varying from benign condition to a local, aggressive, and sometimes metastatic. Constitutes 15%. When malignant, might spread to lungs and bones. So this is the picture, Phyllodes tumor, involving left breast. Microscopy contains the cystic spaces with leaf-like projections, hence called phyllodes. Cells show hypercellularity and pleomorphism. May be a variant of intracanalicular fibroadenoma of the breast, giant type. So this is the leaf-like projections, microscopic picture. Clinical features in Phyllodes tumor: occur in premenopausal women between the age group of 30 and 50 years, usually unilateral. Grows rapidly not to attain a large size with bossylated surface. Swelling is non-tender, soft, fluctuant, with sometimes pressure necrosis of the skin over the summit. So the differentiating features from carcinoma are: the tumor is warmer, not fixed to the skin or deeper muscles or chest wall. Nipple retraction is absent, lymph nodes are not involved. But recurrence is common in phyllodes tumor. Regarding the investigations, ultrasonography followed by fine needle aspiration or core biopsy. Greater than 35 years of age, mammography indicated. In case of suspected malignancy, chest X-ray or CT chest to be done. First one is the ultrasonographic picture of phyllodes tumor. Second picture is the mammographic picture. Looking like a giant fibroadenoma. Treatment. Either by excision, subcutaneous mastectomy is done. If it is malignant, total mastectomy should be done. Regarding the mastalgia, by definition, it is a pain in the breast. Entity that is ubiquitous, has an unknown etiology and a poorly understood. Types of mastalgia are cyclical of about 65%, non-cyclical of about 30%. Chest wall pain constitutes the 5%. Regarding the cyclical mastalgia, pain related to menstrual cycles, seen in ND phenomenon like fibrosis adenosis called cyclical mastalgia, present in menstruating age group, bilateral phenomenon diffused with heavy feeling. Treatment, evening primrose oil of about dosage 325 mg/bd, gamolenic 120 mg/bd, danazol 100 to 200 mg/bd, bromocriptine 2.5 mg/bd, which is a prolactin inhibitor. Regarding the non-cyclical mastalgia, other causes of breast pain are periductal mastitis, malignancy, cervical root pain, musculoskeletal pain. Usually unilateral, chronic, burning or dragging in nature, occurs both in pre and post-menopausal age group. Regarding the non-cyclical mastalgia treatment, cause has to be identified first, malignancy has to be ruled out, breast support to be given, avoid stress and coffee. Regarding traumatic fat necrosis, may be due to either direct or indirect trauma. Regarding the pathogenesis, capillary ooze causes triglyceride in the fat to dissociate into fatty acids. It combines with calcium from the blood, resulting in saponification, which in turn causes the inflammatory reaction and later presents as a non-progressive swelling in the breast. Regarding the clinical features, painless swelling, which is smooth, hard, non-tender, and adherent to the breast tissue, non-progressive, non-regressive also. Regarding the investigations, fine needle aspiration cytology, which shows the chalky fluid with flat globules. Mammography should be done to rule out malignancy. Differential diagnosis is carcinoma of the breast, treated by excisional biopsy. Okay, rest of the benign breast topic will be covered in the next section. Any doubts? Fibroadenoma, fibroadenosis, phyllodes tumor. Mastalgia, traumatic fat necrosis. All these are important topics for short notes. Any doubts? Students? Any doubts? So I will cover this later about post-operative complications and all these things. In carcinoma of the breast, very detailedly I will cover it. Okay, I will end the session. अब 5 minutes कुछ ना doubts